Lambda. Cold Pursuit is the newest Liam Neeson action film, and I don't know what they were thinking, honestly. Basically take Taken and you kill the daughter off. And I'm trying to wrap my head around this idea of putting all of these A-list actors, giving them nothing to do. You have Laura Dern, who is the wife. What they give you is basically a 10-minute long performance. In the first third of the movie, she's in it. Right after that, gone. What was the point of putting Laura Dern in it? You could have saved like a good $2 million to get somebody else who could have given you the exact same performance. And that's what this movie really ends up feeling like. With the exception of the villain, there's really no reason to put any of these actors in it. Let me say this, they shoot it okay. When you gotta get to the editing, good fucking luck trying to decipher what could be happening. I do like that there's a good amount of like impact. Liam Neeson kicks the shit out of somebody. It really feels like there's blood gushing everywhere. They're like drooling all over, their nose just destroyed basically. Despite not needing any A-list actors in this film, I mean, Liam Neeson, he does okay. I just don't think there's too much to work with. When he figures out that his son is killed, it's very underwhelming. It reminds me of Death Wish when Charles Bronson like has to emote feeling the loss of his family. You so don't believe it for a second. And then you have them find out in this scene in the coroner room. They're trying to make this funny. You have the coroners step constantly on the bed where the son's body lies, and then you just hear these goofy, high-pitched kind of farting noises of, you know, cranking it up, and then you just see this close-up of, and I laughed so hard, and there's a lot of good scenes like that in this movie, so at least you get some kind of laughs. A lot of the intentional laughs do not work, and when they try to make you laugh, it's kind of cringeworthy a little bit. What I will say is, to Death Wish's credit, you can kind of understand the Charles Bronson character in all of a sudden grabbing a gun, going around shooting people. You can kind of wrap your head around that, but in this one, you don't have him emote at all. And then in the next scene, he tries to attempt suicide. It's like, where did that come from? And then all of a sudden he becomes this John Wick character who has to go after the entire mob front, and it goes so out of hand, and it just comes out of nowhere. Cool character that's in this movie. It's the wife of one of Liam Neeson's sort of acquaintances. This chick is having the time of her life playing this. It's one of those performances where every time you see that she's gonna be in a scene, you start to get really excited. You're like, oh boy, this is gonna be so good. Because I swear to God, the first time you see her, she's like filing her nails, and she does this thing with the most serious face I've ever seen. And then just in case the audience didn't really get the message, she stops filing and goes, precious, absolutely lovely. Every time they cut back to her, she's doing some weird exercise, and she just has that stone face the entire time. I wish she was in this a lot more. It would be so much more entertaining. Then you have to deal with the other characters. Okay, why do we do this? Why? This could have just been a simple story of a vindictive father. Okay, that's kind of what Death Wish was. You kind of had some scenes with the cops and blah blah blah, the police force, but it was mostly the Charles Bronson character. In this one, okay, maybe the first quarter is that? By the latter half of this film, we cut to Liam Neeson, then you have the cops who are unbearably dull, the native cartel, this Marlon Brando wannabe who goes off on all these philosophical speeches. Then you cut to an immensely unnecessary gay scene. You kind of just realize that 5 years from now, it's gonna be like, okay, that's dated. Like, what was the point of that scene? Though I have never seen that before. Two hitmen who are lovers, there's no point to it. Just one of them dies, one of them looks mildly sad that their lover is shot right in front of them. The main problem with this movie is cutting to these idiots. I just can't stand the cop who just wants to dream and will believe in justice. But then you have the older cop who's just like, oh, we don't need to worry about that. You're getting way over your head. You cut to both of these cartels with no personality. Then you spend a minute with Liam Neeson looking over the grave, and I'm focusing more on how weird his ear is formed. We're constantly cutting to people I don't care about, and I'm like, why? To the movie's credit, it doesn't use a lot of background music. There's a lot of silence, but due to the editing, you can't get into the atmosphere. It goes to this confusing Tarantino-esque thing where it has like a cross, the nickname of somebody. Are you serious? Like, who do you think you are? This was a remake. The film tries to elevate itself by having these super philosophical meanings, and then this philosophy spewing villain. Maybe he totally believes what he's saying, and maybe the actor is trying his damnedest. But what does this have to do with anything? There's these Lord of the Flies references, all of these references to classy literature. This just started as a revenge story. You don't need a meaning. Does I Spit on Your Grave need a message? It's a fucking chick getting raped and then she goes after them. End of story. All these talks about loyalty, all these way of the wolf lines. I'm just like, oh God, shut up. And we constantly have to cut like a minute in every single scene, every single character. I'm just like, I can't give a shit. I can't give two shits. I can't give three. Liam Neeson, you're a cool guy, but pick better scripts, come on. You could do better than this. You have done better than this. And Laura Dern, you know what, good for you. You chose a bit role for likely a couple $1 million, and you know, you just performed and you're done. No more, no less, good for her. Buy a good Lamborghini for that. And Asian chick with the nail filer, you will be on my radar from now on, girl. That is it. Do not see this movie. It's a total waste. If you really want to see something like this, maybe the first Taken will do you better because it has Liam Neeson and it's kind of the same story. In this one, we're constantly cutting to a bunch of people, a bunch of caricatures that are not people. They're just cliches. They think we can just waste time with these people just to ease up that running time because nothing can be 90 minutes anymore. So that's it, guys. Who are we? Who are you? I'll see you next time.